Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Estefany. I'm one of the volunteers of Paul and Stephen Spiritus Center, and really happy to be here with you today. So for us to get started, I always like for us to take a deep breath because we are always very busy, and even though this is a Saturday, or maybe not, maybe you're watching it another time, but most of us are always on the go, even if not physically, mentally. So just to take a break from all of that and focus on what we're really doing. So really, really commit to this. It's a breath. It's nice. It's easy. So really, go in, big deep breath, and then out through your mouth. Make the noise. Okay? So let's do it again. Breathe in. And just do one more time because practice makes perfect. All right. So as much as you can, try to disconnect from the other stuff. I'm not going to take all that long, but just be present. Be present if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Just have me in the background. It's still really nice to have you around. So we generally try to start with a prayer. So if you're comfortable with closing your eyes, then please do so. If not, you can keep your eyes open. But let's pray. Let's do the prayer that Jesus himself taught us when he was around here. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. So be it. You may open your eyes again. Now that we are connected, that we are on the same vibration and we are on the same frequency of thought, let's think about today's topic. And today's topic was taken from the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 20, which is called chapter 20 is called Workers of the Last Hour. And it starts with the parable of the workers of the last hour. And our great friend Rodrigo did a chat late last year, I think, and he asked us what was our favorite parable. And I often say it's this one. Even though it's not, I really just identify with the title of being a worker of the last hour. I think in Portuguese, even more so than English, it's sounds like those people who show up at the last minute. But if you have a favorite parable, tell me in the comments, like what it is. Mine is actually the parable of the talents, at least at the moment, because I really, really do love the parables. And I've done chats like these in the past about this very parable that I went in and explained every analogy, every symbol, every meaning, and all of that. And I'm really not going to do that today because the topic of the chat today is actually that it's time to get to work, right? And so we're using the parable just to bring us into this topic, but the topic is not the actual parable. So I hope that you're all pretty familiar with it. It's one of the best known parables, but it's also one of the parables that is really hard to understand and to really grasp the meaning, because there is just so much of it. So I'm just going to go over it a little bit just to remind you. Although I have a bit of a hard time with that. Once I get started, no one can shut me up. Of course, I'm here on my own, so there is no one to shut me up, but I will try to keep with the time. But so the parable of the workers of the last hour talks about a landowner. He owned a vineyard, and he came out at the first moment of the day. In the first hour, he came to the town square to get some workers. And what is the first hour? So in those times, they used to count the daylight hours and the nighttime hours, right? And over there, it's not quite like in here. Right now, we've got daylight saving. It's light until late in the day, and then in the winter, it's light. It gets dark early. Over there, things are a little bit more consistent. So the first hour was 6 o'clock in the morning, right? And you get normally 12 hours of daylight over there. So the first hour is 6 o'clock in the morning. And why does he come out to the town square to find workers? That's how they did things back then. And until quite recently, workers would gather in a town square or in a factory gates or at the farm gates, waiting for the opportunity to work. So the foreman or the owner in this case would come out and say, I need 5 people, you come in. And the other ones, unfortunately miss out. But a lot of the times that sort of thing happened, right? And these people who didn't have a profession or, land or money, family money, and they had to sort of do casual work, as we call it nowadays, they had to go there and hope for the best, right? And it could be really tough if they didn't get picked on that day and they had to come back home and, empty-handed, and who knows, maybe they didn't eat very well that day. So that happened regularly. So the landowner comes out and picks a few workers to go work in his vineyard, and he says that he will pay them a dinar or a denarius, which was the money of the time, and it was a good wage, right? And the people just went, and then he came back. Apparently there's a lot of work that day, and he came back in the third hours, which let's say it was around 9 o'clock, and there was still a lot of people there waiting to get work. So he took a few more people to go work in the vineyard. Then he came back in the 6 hours, so around midday, and there were still people there. So he got a few people to go in to work, and then he came back in the 9th hour, so around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There were still people there waiting, so he took some more people, and he came back in the 11th hour. Yeah, so in English, a lot of times people talk about the 11th hour, or something happened in the 11th hour. So that's like the last hour of the day, the last possible minute. And it comes from this passage. So at 5 o'clock, he came, and there were still people there waiting to get work. And he's like, you guys are still around here. And, why are you still here? And they said, well, no one came to call us. No one came to give us work. And they says, okay, well, come and work, as you can come and work as well. So they all went to work, and then when they all came back, he told the foreman to pay those ones that the last ones first, and he gave them a denarius, so the same amount of money that he had promised the ones of the first hour, even though after the first hour he hadn't discussed money. He just said, well, if you want to work, you come work. And they just went. And So the first ones, when they saw that, they thought, well, we're going to get more for sure because we've been there all day. We've worked 12 hours in the sun. And they've just come in and done 1 hour. So surely we're going to get more. But everybody got the same. And they got very upset. And the landowner said, well, but why are you upset with me? Did I not give you what I promised? Like I didn't do you any wrong. Why are you upset with my generosity? And and then they say that the last shall be the first, and the first shall be the last. And please forgive me for looking the other way. Sometimes I have some notes over here in the other screen. And he says, so the last shall be the first, and the first shall be the last. For many are called, but few are chosen. Right? So, even after years and years of studying and even understanding the parable, it's hard to help relating to those guys, isn't it? The ones that were in there in the first hour were toiling and, all day in the sun and were exhausted. And those other people came in at the last minute and got the same. What's up with that? It's really hard it's really hard not to immediately take their side, right? And there are many explanations. I really, really recommend that you, when you're doing your gospel at home, maybe, have a look at that chapter, start from the top and just keep on going. So there's a lot of explanations there as to what everything means and why certain things are the way they are, because everything has a meaning. The hours have a meaning. Each character in the story has a meaning. Everything that happens has a meaning, right? And but one of the explanations that they give is that if the workers that were there in the square, they came at the same time as the ones who went to work, right? But they were just waiting there because they didn't want to go home empty-handed. They needed that. They really needed that. They didn't just rock up to see what might happen. They needed that work. They needed that money. So they were there. And can you imagine the anxiety that you would experience sitting there all day, not knowing if you're going to get any work, if you're going to be picked, if you're going to be able to take something home for your family? They had really big families back then. I can imagine it was a really tough day for them. I mean, it's I don't know that we can ever agree on who had the harder day because, working in the field, in the vineyard, I'm sure it was a hard day as well. But those people who were there waiting, they had their own challenges. And so the spirits explain that if they had, given up, like they're there at 6 o'clock in the morning, because imagine to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, you have to get up much earlier. They probably had chores that they had to do at home. Maybe they had to milk a cow. Maybe they had to, attend to their little garden or something. They, fix something in the house and then leave. So, and you had to walk everywhere back in those days. So, they probably had a really early start. So maybe hits midday, you think this is not going to happen. Or maybe let's say that, they just slept in and decided to come in at midday, or at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then someone came at 5 o'clock. It's like, oh, hello. Yes, I will do an hour's work for a day's pay, right? That's not who those people were. They were there the whole time, right? How does that apply to us? So they explain to us that the different hours and the different workers relate to different periods in time, right? So starting from, the very early days when, from the very early days, the Chinese, the Hindus, the Aryans, the ancient Egyptians, the the prophets, the times of Moses, the times of Jesus, the times of the beginning. There were lots of different people that were called at different times. Remember the landowner who represents God, he comes out and he calls people. So a lot of people were called at different times to, to do the work, and what is our work? It's it's our moral evolution, as we always say, like we're all on a journey to happiness, but in the meantime, we have to work on ourselves and we have to improve ourselves. So at many times, many people were called, few were chosen, not because God liked this one and didn't like that one, but just those that were ready, right? Because anyone could have gone to that town square to get work, but only a few of people were there. And out of those ones, they were the ones who were ready to work, right? And, and sometimes if you think about it, like you can only do your work after someone else has done theirs, right? So I don't know a lot about construction, but I imagine that the people who do the roof can only really work after the ones that have done the base have finished their job, right? And the walls. They cannot come beforehand. There is an order of things. So perhaps, those people, from the first hour, the third hour, the sixth hour, they had to come first so that those last people could really come in and employ their talents to the best of their abilities. Or for us, if we are translating the analogy to, the different eras and the different people that have come and gone, and if we think about our belief in reincarnation, perhaps, like the same people that are in the first hour are possibly in the 11th hour, right? So who are the workers of the last hour? They say in the gospel that they are the spiritists. And when they say the spiritists, of course, this is the gospel according to Spiritism. So, but really it means everyone who believes and agrees with the moral teachings of Spiritism, anyone that follows that kind of who follows the concepts and the philosophies that Spiritism brings to us. So those are the people. So we are these people. We are the workers of the last hour. And perhaps we were also there in the first hour, who knows? But we are here. And the beauty of that is that even though we're here and perhaps we were there at some point, perhaps we weren't, perhaps we've been wandering this whole time and we haven't been ready to really take on the work, which is to really improve ourselves so that we can find that happiness, we can find our higher consciousness, and we can find our higher self, right? And so whether we've been working since the first hour of the day or the third or the sixth or the ninth, or if we just woke up to the need to do this right now, we're still going to get the same pay. We're still going to get to the same goal, because the goal is the same. The goal, the arrival place is the same. Like in a marathon, whether it took you the regular 2 hours or if it took you 4 hours, you all cross the same finish line, right? And so we're all going towards the same, and we all get every chance that as many chances as we need. And some people got it straight away. Some people straight away, they knew what they had to do. They said, let me be of service. Let me help you. Mary, when the angel explained, Gabriel explained to her what was going to happen, and she said, I forget exactly her words, but it was something like, I how may I serve? How may I be of service? How can I, like, let me do my part, right? Whereas there was another passage where this rich guy came to Jesus and he said he already did all the right things. What else could he do? And Jesus at that time said, well, leave everything behind and follow me. And he says, oh, well, I'm not ready for that yet. And and unfortunately, yeah, and he just wasn't ready. And I'm not saying for a minute that Jesus is telling us to leave our families and our homes and our jobs and everything behind to follow him. It's not that. It's to leave the old us behind, the old beliefs, the old habits, the old um, faults, all those that baggage that we carry with us from all our incarnations, from all our journey to evolution. Let's leave that behind. Let's follow his lead, because he came to show us the way, and it's all there. So it's so hopefully we, the workers of the last hour of the 11th hour, actually wake up before the day is over, before the 12th hour comes. Because, like we talk in Spiritism often about how this world of this planet of trials and atonement will move on to a phase of regeneration. So there's going to be a lot of changes, but every um, every religion, or every culture that has some kind of spiritual belief has also knows that something is coming, whether it's the age of Aquarius, whether it is, like everyone says it in their own way, but there is a big change coming, and it is time for us to get to work, right? And you're probably thinking, but I already work. I already go every day. I get up, I go there. I already do that. There's other types of work, and it's really good if you do that, because every job and every work that we do, that we dedicate ourselves and we do it with our hearts, they are all valid. They are all contributing. But there is more. There is more that we have to do. We have to do the inner work. We have to do the inner reform. And then once we do that, once we work on ourselves, and we don't have to become perfect to move on, because, that is a really big job. But as soon as we feel a little bit of confidence, or maybe even before, like if we go out and we, like the amazing AA program says, fake it till you make it. So if we just go out there and try, sometimes that confidence does come to us. Many times we can do so much more than we think. We put things off, or we say, oh, I still need to learn more. I need to be better. I need to have more time. There's so many excuses, isn't it? And please don't for a minute think that I'm any better at this. I'm a master procrastinator, but I'm working on that. And we all have something to work on, isn't it? Maybe you are watching and you don't procrastinate at all. You were great at that, but then you have something else that you need to work on. That perhaps I already did that quite well. So that's why it's such an individual thing. I can't actually say you have to do this. However, I really want to invite you to actually take action, and I'd like to leave you with some homework, right? Because it's all very nice to listen, and some people say that my voice, like puts them right to sleep, or to, and then if I ask you tomorrow what the chat was about, would you remember? Right? But, and perhaps you would, but oftentimes, even as we come out of the center, I've asked people, because maybe I was with the children, maybe I was at reception and so, like what, how was the lecture? What was it about? And people look at me like, huh? So when we do something, when we take some action, things stick a bit more. So if you go, so the first thing I'd like you to do, if you wish to accept this mission, it's to do something for yourself. What is something you can do for yourself today? I know it's the evening, but is there anything that you can do for yourself today? Like a nice thing that you can do for yourself today? And maybe tomorrow as well. And, it can be something small, it can be something big, but a lot of people, a lot of us don't take enough time to look after ourselves. We spend time looking after the family, looking after the house, doing everything they need to do for work, and, a million things. And, maybe you do pamper yourself normally, but, you know, when do you take time for yourself? And I'm not just talking about a bubble bath or something like that, which, fair enough, it could be what you need right now. But there are so many things that enrich you, enrich us, and are not that hard to do. But it does require taking a moment, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I should have done that the other way around so that it sounded more, it sounded easier. But yeah, if you have half an hour, it's great. If you have 5 minutes, take it. Take it. And what does it mean for you? Okay, you will know, but maybe you will go for a walk. Maybe you do a meditation. Maybe you will read a good book. Maybe this chapter, maybe some other book that you've been waiting to do for such a long time. Maybe there's that thing that you've been meaning to, try and break that habit. You were trying to stop doing something or start doing something. Well, how about, after you do that sort of calming activity, actually sitting down and figuring out a plan? What's the first step that you can take to do that? And start with the first step. All the biggest journeys start with the first step. If you try and do everything at once, it doesn't work. So what can you do for yourself? And pick something small but meaningful, something that, will contribute to your evolution, or at least it will contribute to your well-being, right? Because that is important. If we're not feeling well within ourselves, we are not able to help, ourselves or anyone. I mean, maybe in everyday things, routine things, sure, if you're not feeling well within yourself, you can still take the kids to school, you can still, you know, clean up the house, but, more meaningful things, because you might think that I veered from the topic, but I haven't. The work that we have to do in the vineyard starts with ourselves. It starts inside ourselves, right? And then the next task for the week, what's something nice that you can do for someone else? Surely there is something, it can be something physical, like if you live with someone, you can, it's up to you. Everyone is different, but maybe you can fix something for them, make them a nice meal or whatever. But how about if we think about someone that we need to say sorry to? or someone we need to forgive, someone that maybe hurt our feelings and we've been carrying that hurt. And how about if we let it go? How about, remember about leaving everything behind and following Jesus? How about we let that go? All that stuff that we carry around, it just weighs on us, So maybe the person will be ready um, to hear us, to forgive us. Maybe they won't, but we can still do our part, right? Maybe someone who needs an ear, someone who's going through a tough time. Maybe we can see, how they're doing. Maybe we can just send them a nice message. Maybe we can take something for them, I'll leave it to you. I'll give you a whole week to do that task. And, because we have to do it within the week, otherwise the next person will come and give you a different homework and you'll forget mine. Then, once you figure out something to do for yourself and something to do for someone else, can we do something for our environment? Something good for our environment. And when I mean environment, you can take it however you like. It can be the physical environment. What are some good things we can do? Maybe we can pick up some rubbish that we see at the beach. Maybe we can make sure that we don't leave rubbish behind. Maybe we can make sure, that we do the right thing, but also in, our environment, as in the people who are around us. Is there anything we can do, anything that we can do for our community, for the people that surround us? So the second homework was, for the people closest to us, right? Maybe from our family, maybe from our friends. The other one is a little bit broader. It's in the community, it might be some, and they may have some overlap, but it could be someone from work. It could be someone that, you don't even know. Is there anything you can do? Can you do some volunteering? Can you send a prayer to someone who's going through a hard time? Can you actually, pray for them or send them good vibrations over the course of a few days? There are so many things that we can do, whether we physically go and do them, because there are so many organizations and so many opportunities to do good things, or even if it's an internal work, like just focusing on someone and sending them, the good vibrations, or the all our positive feelings, like we often do at the end of these chats. We send this out. We send our love out to the world, but do you only do that on a Saturday when you watch us? Or is this something that you could do a little bit more regularly, right? And I'm going to stop there because we could keep on going, we could do something good for the world, but it all starts with us. Every time we improve ourselves, we improve the whole world. Every time we help someone else, Jesus said that to us. Every time you feed someone, it's me you're giving food to. Every time you clothe someone else, it's me you're giving it to. So every time we help someone, or at least we try to the best of our ability, we are doing our work. And we have to do it now, people. It's the 11th hour now. So we can't delay. We can't delay, if we don't make a move to come into our consciousness, to really make sure that we are putting in the work for our inner reform, for our moral evolution. We'll still get more opportunities, but it may be that they become a little bit harder, So we always have to take the opportunity that we've got right now, this moment. Um, Oftentimes we say, oh, I'm going to do that next time. In the next time that I come around, this one is too hard. Who hasn't said that? Sometimes if you're a spiritist, then you know that you get to come another time. But when we come another time, we're not guaranteed that it's going to be like this time. What if it's already the next stage and we didn't make it? We're going to come back maybe in a who knows what situation we're going to come into. So let's just do it now. We've had, when we read the books that were written by the spirits that are telling us about things from, the next stage, they always say that the biggest regret that the spirits have is that they did not really take all the opportunities that were given to them when they were here in the flesh. So let's do this. Okay? And yeah, so it is time to get to work. It is time to get to work. It is the 11th hour. We've got to do it now. All right? So I believe I've talked too much. I've gone too long. So we'll do a short prayer to finish our chat today. And if you like, you can do something like that for one of your homework tasks when you're trying to do something nice for someone else. And you can also, like when you tap into your breathing, when you look within yourself, when you take some time, to just switch off a little bit, that is also doing the work for you, right? And so if you feel comfortable with closing your eyes, please do so. Take another deep breath. Like really feel that air coming in and feeling your lungs, feeling your belly, feeling, just everywhere. If there's any point of pain in your body, feel that breath going all the way there, just go really exaggerated. Just, it's so easy for us to forget to breathe. Yeah, as amazing as that sounds, because we can't do anything without breathing, but we do that all the time. So let's just focus and, on the vibration of love and peace and harmony. And let's look within ourselves and find that light that we have. It's all ours. And that light is full of love. It's full of our best thoughts. It's full of positive vibrations. And we imagine that light, we can feel it inside our hearts, and we can feel it permeate through our whole body. You can start feeling that light all over your body, your organs, your cells, and you can visualize it, coming out of your skin, and you can imagine it leaving us or extending beyond us to wherever we want to send it to. And we can send this light, our inner light, full of our love and best thoughts and feelings and vibrations. We can send that light to all the people in this world who are going through difficult times. We know there are a lot of people right now going through very difficult times. Whether it's for the world or whether it's for an individual person, imagine that light reaching them. Imagine that light enveloping them. It's coming out of your heart, it's coming out of your body, and it's reaching out. It's extending beyond you. You're not left without. Your body is full of light, and you have so much light that you are actually sending it out into the universe, onto other human beings. And we can send that light to people from our families, or to our friends, but in the spirit of the word of Jesus, who brought us and who told us to love everybody, not just those who loved us. Let's send also to those people who perhaps are not the best people, but they are the ones in most need of light. So if there's anyone that you think could do with a lot of improvement, envelop them as well in your beautiful light. It doesn't cost you anything. You have an unending supply of beauty, of light, of good vibrations. All you need to do is reach into that inner source. And imagine it enveloping our beautiful planet, our beautiful nature, the beautiful animals. Imagine it reaching our water that we drink, and that we drink it back again full of this water, magnetized, full of love and positivity. And once you're done, you can take another deep breath. And just before you open your eyes, think about how you're feeling. Check into your body right now, and just think about if you're feeling now better than before. Now that you have given so much, you have sent out all your love and your vibrations, realize that nothing is missing. You have filled your cup, and it got so full that you had plenty to give it to everyone else as well. And that is so important. If our cup is not full, we cannot share. I must now close this. It's gone way too long, so you can open your eyes back up. And I just like to wish you an amazing weekend, a wonderful week. I wish you peace, I wish you joy, I wish you strength to get through all the challenges, and know that, every day you get to start over. And I look forward to seeing you the next time. Thank you for being here, and have a wonderful evening. See you.